Hello, friends. Welcome back to John's Comics with Kids and another new live stream series that I'm kicking off tonight with a special friend. We're gonna tell you all about what's going on here. Where my Wi-Fi will hopefully hold up, and we'll have some shenanigans with you all in the chats. Let's say hello to the man, the myth, the legend, Magi Lasso.
What's going on? Hey, John, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. You and I have been talking about this series for so long. I feel like I'm just got jitters.
Yeah. So we kind of decided, you needed to wrap up Omni X-Men so we can kick off this new series, which is so related. So tonight, it's Omni New Mutants.
Is that
surprise?
Oh, I don't think I have. Oh, the omnibus is right there. I got it. I'm ready.
These are the issues I read.
You read a lot already.
I read a lot of them. So.
That's impressive. No, yeah. Ryan, that's not what we're doing tonight.
Oh.
That's not what we're doing. No, I'm sorry.
I'm confused again.
Yeah, but it is Omni related, at least for me. This is yet another. I know people are like, John, weren't you the guy that got nominated for that Omnibus channel thing? And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't win, so I need to do more. That's what it told. Gotcha. That's what my takeaway was.
You had to step up. You have to step the game up.
And I happened to buy a couple of Omnis, and when I shared them with Ryan, Ryan was like, this could be something kind of fun. This could be something really enjoyable. So those that saw the teases going on, it's this volume number 1 of the Avengers, and the other one I purchased was the first Silver Age volume of the Justice League of America, which includes, that one was the first 30 Avengers. This one includes the original 3 Brave and the Bold issues plus Justice League of America 1 through 30.
Yeah.
So I had these and I wanted to do something fun with it. And along came this guy and he was like, well, let's make this kind of a fun discussion of great Silver Age team comics and get into the nitty-gritty, the weeds a little bit of team comics. And I was like, great, it could be Avengers versus Justice League of America.
Justice League versus Avengers. And
then he was like, no, it's got to be Justice League of America versus Avengers. That debate is still ongoing. Let us know your thoughts on the title because it will be kind of fun bouncing back and forth between Ryan's channel and my own. I put the link down below because next Wednesday, we will do the first official episode of this series over on Ryan's channel.
A week from right now. So I'm looking forward to it too. And later on in today's show, because John and I have been wanting to collaborate on something for a while, and this wasn't the first idea that we came up with, but later on in the stream, I actually grabbed some of my notes that I took of some of our rejected shows that we were talking about. So I'll share those with you guys as an exclusive later on in the stream, but you want to hang around for that.
Yes. There will be some shenanigans. There will be some comedy. There'll be some comics. We're going to share our first 10 issues of these iconic runs. We're going to talk a little bit about where our love for these characters and these series came from. We'll trivia quiz each other a little bit on some of these books to see how much we really know these teams and just have a lot of fun with y'all tonight to kind of kick off the concept of, I think it's Avengers versus Justice League,
Justice League versus Avengers. JLA versus
I always
Avengers.
Get it backwards. I always get it backwards.
Yeah, that dyslexia will get you every time.
But let's take a look at the mightiest chat in the YouTubes right here. Let's check out our mightiest heroes. We got Las Cruces from New Mexico. Hello to you, Las Cruces. Good to see you, sir. We got JP, who's also going live right now. He said, just had to go live with this as I was scheduled to go live. I'm on to you, John. I'm expecting more from Ryan. Disappointed. Should you, though? Next Wednesday, we're doing it again at 6. So JP, we'll hose you again, too, then as well. Hello from the Heartland, Carlito Clasico. Hello to you, sir.
Hello.
JP says, I'm looking forward to seeing what you boys have planned. That's the point of tonight. We're really gonna get into the fun nitty-gritty of these two teams and what we want to be doing with you guys every week that we get together to discuss these series. I am a big meanie. That's me. That's me. Candace is in the chat. What's going on? Candace
Barbosa. Big winner.
The big winner last night.
Yes.
Candace cleaned up, and I've got some great things put together. Candace, I'll be sending out your winnings from last night's Omni giveaway this weekend. I'll send you the info so that you'll know when those goodies arrive.
I can't wait to see what she's going to get her commission of. What character she's choosing for her commission, because I'm sure if I was her, the wheels with me turning. I mean, my wheels were already turning and I didn't win. So Candace won, so I'm sure that hers are going much faster. But congratulations on your big night last night, Candace.
And Tony Silas messaged me this morning that he's already ready to go whenever she connects with him. So hopefully they connect together soon.
Dazzler.
We got this guy in the chat, and his links are down below because you want to be following for next Wednesday. We're going to be kicking this off right and getting right into these books. So you want to be there next Wednesday. Ben Compton, hello to you. Happy new comic book day to you guys. Yeah, Gordon in the chat. What's going on, Gordon? Good to see you.
Gordon.
This is way more exciting than JP and Bearded. There it is. I mean, there's some truth. And really, this is a great show for people like Old Wolf, fans of Silver Age comics and these great teams. You're going to get a lot out of this. If you've never read these books, if you've never read these from these characters, this will be a great jumping on point because we're going to start right there, basically issue number 1. Get into some of this. And we got Candace saying she's got some ideas. All right, there you go. Happy to hear that. Cliff is here in the chat. What's going on, Cliff?
So
he's a Silver Age DC fan, so I'm sure he's primed for this.
Cliff, look what I have within arm's reach, and I did not know you were going to be here or not. No, you can put us both back together.
All right.
But the rest of the chat won't understand it, John. You well, and Cliff should as well because you were there for it. But the public wasn't. Look what I have. The disrespect. Do you remember that?
I do. The disrespect.
Disrespect. The disrespect is back.
It is. That's what we're here for, is a lot of disrespect. So, again, thank you all, folks, for coming. This is the launch of Avengers versus Justice League.
Justice JLA versus Avengers.
Oh, JLA versus Avengers. Let's spend a little time talking about what we want this show to be. Because I know that, Ryan, when we talked, we were really much in sync that this is not really like a competition show.
No,
just John versus Ryan here.
No, it's not you versus me at all.
No,
because at least it's my understanding that we are fans of characters that are on both teams.
Right.
So there will be times that we're going to read, like next week, we're going to read Avengers #1 and we're going to read Justice League of America #1. And we're going to kind of have some different categories and do some synopsis for it. But we're going to talk about overall who had the better issue. And just because I love Wonder Woman doesn't mean that I won't vote for Avengers if they had the better issue. If they had the better #1 out of the two, then I'm going to vote for them.
And just because I don't like Aquaman doesn't mean I'm going to be voting against the Justice League of America. No, I'm just kidding. But the discussion is really going to be a chance to read. The first episode will be reading issue #1s from both. A chance to discuss all the little nitty gritty, get into some of the art, get into some of the writing, get into some of the story character stuff. And then hear from you in the chat, which in the end, after the debate and the discussion, which was the better issue to read and enjoy, which is the better. Now, obviously, value is a whole other topic. And we're not really going to spend a spec show talking about like, oh, this one's the better spec book.
Yep.
But the importance of those characters going forward might play into your view. Oh, I really like that this is the first appearance of who and why you might value that book as a fan. But this is not a money book show. This is definitely a show about the story, the characters, the reading, and what we feel about those books. So that's the fun of it.
Essentially, both teams have fought their battle already. Now we're putting them together.
Right.
Because, I mean, these books, were published. Justice League had about a 3-year head start on Avengers in terms of publishing.
Yeah.
And, but we're going to mash them up against each other and see. 3 years shouldn't be too bad. Silver Age is Silver Age, and speaking quite honestly for both companies, some have winners and some have huge clunkers. Both companies do.
Right.
So, and there very well could be a week where both books are complete
stinkers. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's but someone's going to win, and you, the chat, will help us determine who that winner. We're refereeing this.
Yeah, it's a great discussion in and around Silver Age comics, Silver Age reading, and of course, early team comics, because this was not a big thing that was very popular at the time. These two comics and their successes at the different companies really solidified this concept of what a team book could be. And so the debate across what are they doing story-wise, what are they doing character-wise, there's a lot of good universality there that I think is a kind of fun, that made this kind of fun for me.
there's some parallel. Yeah, there's
Yes.
parallels in the books too. Like you'll find that it's the same issue number when both of them add a member to the team that wasn't an original charter member.
And that will be vital ongoing,
Yeah, and I
right?
mean, yeah, exactly. And we'll look at, although we won't be covering this immediately in our first year, but even if you look so forward out of that,
Yeah.
issue 200 was done by George Perez on Avengers and Justice League. There's just a lot of parallels between the two books. So I
And if
think
you're
it'll be
someone like
fun.
me who's never read these, I've never read the early issues of JLA. This is a very new thing for me. I'm excited to be able to go into this omnibus and read these books and be able to say, now I understand some of the roots of this team and the concept of how they would work together,
Sure. And I haven't
love it.
read the early Avengers.
So this is fun. That's part of the
I
fun.
mean, I joke all the time, Wonder Man, but I know who he is. I know who Simon is. So yeah. But I like to just joke about that a little bit. But honestly, I've got a few of the facsimiles, but it was only like issue 1 and 9 were done. Hey,
Yeah.
Ruben.
What's up, Ruben?
Only 1 and 9 have been done so far as facsimiles, but I'm excited to read some of this stuff as well on the Avengers side. I've read the Justice League. So question for you, John. Where are you in terms of a collector when it comes to team books? Are team books something that you've always been interested in, or?
I mean, obviously, I'm an X-Men fan, so that I mean, a lot of my earliest comic experiences were in and around that team. So I think I come from a place of enjoying how a writer, specifically a writer, can take a large cast and give them all moments to shine and gives them all storylines and arcs that are engaging for an audience. It's a tricky juggling act, and I've seen a lot of channels discussing how difficult it is for certain writers to find success in a team book versus a solo character book, and the differences between the two. So in a lot of ways, what you have is certain writers that might be better suited to that form, and that it is not the same skill set that a writer might have for, say, a Daredevil book or a Batman book.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been drawn to the team books because I think that there was something about, as an original childhood collector, I think getting all the characters in one. And also, I like a lot of the female characters too. And a lot of those characters did not have their own books. So the only time that you could get a Black Canary would be in someone else's book, or a Zatanna. It had to be in someone else's book.
That's a great point. Ruben says, will this lead to an X-Men New Teen Titans thing? I mean, who knows? Who knows where this goes? Obviously, for Ryan and I, the plan is those first like 30 issues, right? Yeah. To really spend the next, and we're going to try to do this once a month, get together on a Wednesday night once a month and go to the next issue. So the next Wednesday, we'll do issue 1. A month later, we'll do issue 2s and then 3s and on. And I've got enough of the Omnis here to go all the way through 30 issues of this.
Yeah.
So, this is a few years out. We're already kind of looking at how long we're going to go with these teams. Does that mean we'll continue infinitely with these characters in these books? Maybe, who knows? It depends how much fun we're having and hopefully how much fun the chat is having while we do this.
Yeah, but we're definitely open to see and let the show breathe and become what it needs to become.
Totally.
And you guys are more than, you guys will actually fine tune it for us,
right?
By your participation. So
well, and here's the other side of that too. Like for me, like I've always been a bit of a hater on Silver Age comics. I've always been somebody who joked with White Whale Comics, even like Silver Age sucks. Like I don't love reading it. I struggle with reading it. And this for me was like, I'm gonna get a full inoculation of Silver Age goodness and really just experience it in a different way, like in a more condensed form, where I'm getting that experience of these characters in these books in the era when it first like came out. So I'm kind of excited for that.
So for me, especially with primarily being a Wonder Woman collector, I have Wonder Woman's title from Silver Age to present. So yeah. I've read her from Silver Age to present. And I've read some Golden Age as well.
Sure.
So, but I've gone through the entire Silver Age decade in her title. And there's parts of the Silver Age in her title that are great, that I'm like, these are rereadable and enjoyable. Right. And then there's other parts of the Silver Age that, as my friend says, were written for babies. Like, you know, it will. There literally is a comic book where Wonder Woman goes to Paradise Island and she says, or Queen Hippolyta says, today we're going to have an adventure about kites, and everything in the issue is about kites. And you're going,
let's
why am
go fly.
I'm like, why did I pay $45 for this dumb book that I'm never going to read again? So what I'm saying is there's some great stuff and there's some not great stuff.
And that's true, I think, a lot of ages, for sure. Obviously, we're in a roller coaster right now in X-Men as well, right? It's really going to focus on the title itself. So Justice League of America Volume 1 and Avengers Volume 1. Now, where it evolves from there, what happens after those first 30 issues are covered, that is the question mark for us and kind of what this will become. Ruben, I'm also going to make Chet breathe like this in a little bit, because in a couple of bits here, we're going to go through.
He's going to be triggered.
Yeah. Congrats to Ryan and myself, but we've collected the original 20 issues. I've stopped at 20, but of these runs as well, the single issues, we own them. And that's another piece of this for me, was wanting to, now that I've collected the first 20 issues of Avengers and I've got the omnibus, I want to engage with these books now even more, because I've read most of them, but I want to engage with them in a fun kind of discussion way. And so this seems like a great opportunity to engage with the Silver Age books. And now you've got 1 through, where are you at in your run?
So with Justice League, for the full run of Volume 1, I'm 20 some issues away from completing the full run of the 261 issues or something.
Amazing.
So
amazing.
But for consistency, starting with issue 1, I have 1 through 12. So 13 is the first issue that I don't have, but then I have 14.
So we can go
all 12, scattered in.
We can go for a full year of this, and every single issue we talk about, one of us will be owning.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. Which is kind of cool, because there's not many shows going through the Silver Age, owning those books, reading them, and engaging with them like this. I think it's kind of fun. We got some homies in the chat jumping in. We got Jamie. What's going on, Jamie?
How are you?
Thank you, sir. We got Chris from Chaos and Comics. He says, you fired no good for Magic Lasso.
It's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade. It is an upgrade. I think this might be the first live show I've seen this year, and it's all Silver Age comic goodness, which is right up your alley, Jamie.
Come back next week, because next week's our first episode on my channel.
We're going to be on Ryan's channel next week on Wednesday at this exact same time, and we'll be discussing Avengers issue 1 and Justice League of America issue 1, and letting you in the chat decide which is the better, more entertaining, more enjoyable, more important comic.
Yeah.
We got Paul from Sector 2815. I know he is a Silver Age fan, and I know he's a Silver Age DC fan, so I'd love to hear his thoughts when we get into these books, because I think he's going to have some great things.
And you guys are more than welcome to read along with us, too, if
Please.
you want. You know, I mean, I understand that you probably don't own these books, but they are heavily reprinted, or if you have the Marvel or DC apps, both titles are on there.
Yeah, obviously, if you've got the digital option, you can read a lot of these. But even if you can't, we're going to go through, we're going to each time we do this, we're going to break down the entire story, what's important about it, which characters we think are really shining in these books, favorite panels, artwork that we like. We're not going to do a full slideshow, but we'll give you some glimpses into what we're thinking about in these artwork and these pieces, and then give you the chance to give us feedback on what this book might mean or impact you in some way, you know?
Yeah. But like I said, if you are able to access the books and want to read along, do it. Chet said the same thing.
There's a GoFundMe.
I saw it. Yeah.
She says, I actually most excited for JLA because I haven't read any Silver Age stuff from DC, mostly modern. And that's basically me. There's only a handful of Silver Age DC I've ever read, mostly stuff with Green Lantern or stuff with Batman. So this is kind of an exciting experiment for me in the same way, Candace.
So also,
this is the nicest comment I could have gotten tonight. So thank you, Ruben. I appreciate that. And then even if you're on a flight to China, Jamie, this is more important. I'm just going to say.
Yes, it is.
Sorry. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, so as you mentioned at the top when you were talking about the Justice League Omnibus, The
Yeah.
JLA had 3 appearances before their own title launch, which are
And my
covered in your
plan is to
omnibus.
read those tonight. We're talking about those Brave and the Bold books.
However, we won't be covering the Brave and the Bold because there's no Avengers equivalent to go with that. So we're starting at issue 1. However, those 3 Brave and the Bold appearances are going to be the retro review on Fanboys Live and the retro review this Sunday night on my YouTube channel with Signature King Tony Fett and Comic Food 2814. So we're going to retro review those 3 as kind of a prequel to the upcoming JLA versus Avengers show.
And my goal tonight is to read those original Brave and the Bold issues. So for those that don't know, it's 28, 29, and 30 from Brave and the Bold. Those were the original appearances of the Justice League of America. And it kind of was a test drive before they launched the solo title or the ongoing title, Justice League of America. Yeah. And I'm going to read those just to have that knowledge base, and they're in this omnibus. I want to know them. But when we start discussing these on our show, on Ryan's channel next week, when we're doing Avengers versus the Justice League, right? That's what it's called.
JLA versus Avengers. You're right.
We'll be discussing issue number 1, meaning Avengers issue 1 and JLA issue 1. So some people might be like, oh, wait, this is not the first appearance of the Justice League because those 3 previous issues had already been published, right?
But like I said, I'm acknowledging those by featuring those on the retro review this weekend.
Oh, you guys think you're so special. We got the first one, blah, blah, blah. I see you. I see you. So we'll get Ryan a Dazzler poster. I mean, I'd be
Ryan, if you watched my new video that came out yesterday, there's a Dazzler poster in
it. So let's get into these. I want to ask you some questions about Justice League.
Wait, time out for a second.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Candace. You know, I do need some artwork, like some custom artwork behind me that could be gifted to me by Tony.
You mean if somebody bought or somebody received or had the option to get a piece of commissioned art, and they could then gift it to somebody.
Yeah, and I could put it on my wall.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it JLA versus Avengers or Avengers? I mean, certainly we
depends
have different feeling on
this. Tomato.
Speaking of
Signature
retro
King,
review,
about him.
That's the show on Ryan's channel this coming Sunday where they're going to be discussing the original Justice League of America 3 issues. So be ready.
And Signature King will be reviewing issue 30 of Brave and the Bold.
Okay, and which one are you doing?
Fu is doing 28. I'm doing 29.
There it is. Okay.
And SK is doing 30.
Perfect. So if you want that groundwork laid for you, it's the perfect opportunity to jump over and get it. And I will share it into my community tab. If you're following me, it's a great way to jump over and then be ready and hit that notification bell because we're going to be there together on his channel next Wednesday. But let's get to know our connection to these teams and get to know a little bit about it. Obviously, I know your favorite Justice League of America character. It's pretty easy, but who ranks second for Ryan? Who is the second best Justice League character in your opinion?
Black Canary. I mean, we're talking Justice League of all time, not just
I want all time. Yeah, obviously, she's not a founding member, but like, what is it you like about China? It's fair. I mean, it's fair.
I didn't even let you finish the question.
No, I mean, you were already ready. You were already ready.
Yeah, I was ready. Speaking of ready, he's a tornado.
Red tornado?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite like story arc from Justice League of America? When you think to this series, and obviously you're collecting what is it? It's 200 and something issues,
like
right?
261, I think.
Is there an arc that you're like, this is the one that is the meaningful one for me?
So a lot of times the way comic books were written back then, there weren't prolonged story arcs. A lot of the one and dones.
Yeah.
But
that was pretty constant in the Silver Age.
Starting with issue 21, and then this would happen every year in Justice League. They would do annual JLA JSA team ups, and those would last multiple issues, 2 to 3 issues. My all-time favorite story arc in Justice League Volume 1 is a JLA JSA team up from the early 80s, and they take on the Secret Society of Supervillains, and it's a complete different incarnation of the SSOSV that's ever been. And the only time this incarnation was together were in these 3 issues. And The characters they picked for the JLA, the
Yeah.
characters they picked for the JSA, and the characters they picked for the SSOSV were perfect. And
And those interactions when they had all those characters coming together.
yes, that
Nice.
is. And if you're curious, that is 195, 196, and 197.
So is that Bronze Age then at that
Yeah,
point,
it's bronze.
right?
Yep.
It's pretty into the
Yep,
Bronze
early
Age.
80s.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
Perfect.
82, 83-ish in that range.
And I will say that's a whole part of DC that I've never gotten into. I've struggled with Justice Society, and I've struggled with the Society teams, and I just like, for me, once it gets beyond the original Justice League International, I struggle with. I just don't think I know the characters enough to really have the ground level understanding, and I'm hoping that some of this experience with you is going to give me that, you know.
So do you think that what Avengers characters do you think became superstars because of the group, not that they could have held their light on their own if they hadn't been in the group first?
You mean like of the original team or all?
No, just in general.
I mean, I do think Vision and Scarlet Witch have become what they are because of the Justice League.
Yeah, essentially that's what I'm saying. What I'm asking.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and because of the Avengers. I mean, sorry, I already had a misspelling. I think what Vision became and what Scarlet Witch became as characters is owed in a huge way to what they did as members of the Avengers team. And I think that for me made a huge impact on why I like those characters, because I always read them as Avengers characters, even when they would appear elsewhere in other books. I loved their 80s miniseries and all that kind of stuff. Vision and Scarlet Witch, which were two characters I really loved. They, for me, always were born of this team book, this Avengers book.
Which Avenger do you think has the biggest ego?
I mean, can anybody beat Tony Stark in this category? I mean,
I had a different person in mind.
Okay, you got to read those JLA books from the Bronze Age. They're great reads. There you go.
Some good
Rawfist Comics. What is going on? Thank you for coming by. There's some very funny jokes about fishnets going on here that I can't highlight all of them, but they're very funny. So I would pick Tony Stark. I mean, there's a lot of ego on that early team for sure, but I think Tony is a tough one to beat. What would you pick?
I thought Quicksilver.
Sure.
He's got the attitude.
Yeah.
I mean,
on that original team, obviously Thor's got a lot of ego. Hank Pym has a ton of ego. Even Janet has a bunch of ego, right?
Yeah.
A lot of egotists.
Boy, I know he's not an Avenger, but Quicksilver versus Sunfire. Boy, who's got the bigger ego there? You know?
That's a tough one to climb right there for sure. What is going on, Phil's Treehouse? I know he is a big Silver Age fan as well, so I'm happy that you cruised by here, Phil. And I've been loving, for those that don't watch Phil's Treehouse on Sundays, you're missing out. He has been doing his sorting show, and it's a great collector community kind of show. And I'm obsessed with it. I have time on Sundays when I'm running errands and I'm just listening in the chat. So huge shout out to Phil and his Sunday show. Really great. And yeah, Hawkeye. Ooh, and we got Daryl in the chat. Hey, Hawkeye, very egotistical as well. That's fair.
But is there a JLAer with a lot of attitude? I mean, Green Arrow has some attitude.
I mean, Hal has a lot of self, value. He definitely views himself in a very he's that fighter jock kind of character in a lot of ways. So I've always liked Hal. He's an interesting character, and I think has had some of that for sure.
Yeah.
So is there a least favorite founding or original, maybe 30 issue Justice Leaguer that you're like, this is one of the first characters to be on the team? This guy drives me crazy, kind of thing.
For me, and I'll preface this answer. Anytime you hear me say I have to preface this answer, this means I'm worried about hate mail.
Yeah. I
because I
don't
never
have that
want
problem.
to offend someone because
I don't care.
this could be somebody's favorite character. But
Sure, they all are.
I always had the hardest one with Martian Manhunter.
Sure.
Because he's very Superman-ish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can really, it's hard to stop him. He can do a lot.
He is overpowered in a lot of ways. I find his power set fascinating.
Yeah. So for me, and maybe it's because when I started reading JLA, you know, there was a good period of time that he was just gone from almost DC in general.
Sure.
He just wasn't published anywhere. And that's when he was gone, was when I first got into comic books. So I didn't know who this character was a whole lot. And I've grown to have an appreciation for him. Right. And actually in the last 20 some years with his appearances on TV shows, like on the CW,
right,
and bringing that character in has made me really enjoy the character much more.
And I have not read a lot of his solo books until real recently, some of the solo books in the last, say, 5-6 years. Yeah. But for me, he was always just a Justice League team member. That was all, much the same way your question about Vision would apply over here to the Justice League. Martian Manhunter was a team member first, foremost, and last in my mind in a lot of ways. And I never felt like he got as much story heavy lifting as some of the other guys that, you know, some of the other characters. Looks like there are some fans. I always thought Martian Manhunter was out of place, says Jay Hood, but you know, Chris, he always has to be a contrarian. So there he is, doing his thing. What was the first Avengers storyline or issue that you remember reading? Where was like your first entry point for the Avengers?
Entry point with that is Bronze Age, of course, because I love the Bronze Age. There was, is it like 186 or 187 where the witch on Wondergore Mountain was Scarlet Witch and she's possessed and she's got the Avengers hanging upside down in the air.
I do remember that cover. Yeah.
That was, I got that at a Zayre's. If you remember the Zayre's department store.
Wow.
I got that like in a 3-pack at Zayre's and I read that issue over and over. And that incarnation is just of the Avengers is my personal favorite, you know, because at that time, the regular members, you know, Cap, Wasp, Iron Man, Falcon, Thor, and then Scarlet Witch was there, and Quicksilver was there, and Ms. Marvel, Carol Danvers. Those were like the core 7 at the time. Yeah, it was John Byrne artwork. Yeah, that was so good. That was my entry point around that time. What about you?
I came in later, mid 80s, and that's how I fell in love with Monica Rambeau. She was Captain Marvel. She's always kind of been, as much as I'm a Carol Danvers fan, and you know, I got her now right over there. Monica was always my Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel. And that came from the Secret Wars and then the Avengers of the same time. I always loved her. I thought her power set was very interesting. Her leadership skills mirrored in some ways what I liked about Storm. So there was a commonality, at least for me as a fanboy, between Monica Rambeau and Aurora. I kind of dug that and the way they were taking charge of those teams. So yeah, it took me time to go back and learn that Captain America was the guy who should be often referred to as the leader of the Avengers. Much like I think maybe it took me time to realize Cyclops might have been the leader of the X-Men. So for me, the 80s coming in, it was Storm and it was Monica. Those were the team leaders that I connected with and I loved.
That was the cover
yes, there it is.
I'm not able to pull it. It's too far away to pull, but I grabbed it off my seat.
167, is that what it says?
No, 187.
187. There you go.
Yep.
So the early Avengers I read was probably in the mid 250s, like 250, 260, somewhere in that range. And Thor was in and on and off the team, but Monica was like running the show and very entertaining. Chet's agreeing with you. 185, 86, and 87. Yeah. He loves those. Monica Rambeau is basically getting nonstop harassed by Rhodey in the Secret Wars is the funniest thing no one talks about. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. The best part of Monica Rambeau is of Martian Manhunter is he's OP, but his weakness is so prevalent.
Yeah,
it's fair. It's fair.
So I mentioned what my favorite incarnation of the Avengers has been. What's yours? And this has to not your dream, but this has to be a version that did
Yeah. I
exist.
I think the one that I've read the most of, the run of Avengers I've read the most of and enjoyed the most was probably a little sacrilegious because it's kind of it was a marketing ploy in some ways.
Mhm.
And that's Bendis's New Avengers. And you
Okay.
talk about a team that's stacked. Captain America, Spider-Man, Wolverine. Like the choice of characters at the focal point of that series is a little bit ridiculous. It's like they were like, who's hot right now? Throw them on the
Yeah,
team. Like
yeah.
we'll just chuck them all in. Now I will say, despite that, it's a very entertaining read, and it's an easy jumping on point for a new fan who's never read it. That first storyline, I think, is called Breakout. It has to do with a breakout at the Raft prison, and there's no Avengers team to stop it. And the few heroes who show up to try to stop it have to work together, and they end up forming a de facto team. And Spider-Man and Cap are the first on the scene. Luke Cage is there. Jessica Jones is there. Daredevil is there. And it's a great coming together kind of moment. And then it spurns a storyline of this new team. And Jessica Drew is on the team. And the Sentry is introduced as an important character. And I have the entire run in single issues. I have a couple of trade paperbacks. I just love it. I think it's a great for somebody just trying to find a modern Avengers book to read with a jumping on point. I think that's probably the one. Now I totally get this, and it does feel like a gimmick, but very entertaining, and it works. And I think Cliff feels clearly the same way. This is a great point, and I've made it on Omni X-Men a few times. I do feel like Beast in my mind, because of when I grew up, is an Avenger. And he's not an X-Man as much as he is that. And I loved whenever the X-Men needed help and they'd get on the giant computer screen and call the Avengers, and Beast would answer. That was my jam. What's up? Kenneth Bird is in the chat. How you doing, Kenneth?
Hey, how are you?
Welcome to Avengers versus Justice League.
JLA versus Avengers.
Also that it could be either one. It could be it's both. Did you want to share some books? Did you have more questions you wanted to do?
No, we can start sharing some books, and also to let you guys know, coming up, we're still going to do a little bit of just trivia for the fun of it too.
Sure.
And we're going to show some rejected show names as well. So that's coming up. But
this is the kickoff launch show. We're really getting you to understand kind of what we want to do with these two Team Silver Age series, and share some of our excitement, so that next Wednesday when we're on Justin or Jesus Christ, if I call you Justin one more time, there's something wrong with me. I clearly need this show to get some of that no good out of my system.
First demerit has been recorded. You know what I say to that?
Demerit. The disrespect, it's steep. We got Joel the Geek.
Hey, Joel.
And we got Carson Woodard in the chat.
How are you?
What's going on, gang? Yeah, we're talking. No, it's not separation anxiety. It's exhaustion from too much Justin. But we're talking Silver Age. We're talking Avengers and Justice League. Do you want to share Justice League issue 1? I'd love to see your copy of the first issue of Justice League. And I'm going to do one of these, and I'm going to swap over. Let's see this. Look at that cover.
We're very definitely. I mean, we got some stuff going on here, but cover attached. That's the worst part of it. Just today, John, I saw it. I actually texted it to you. I saw a coverless copy of this issue in a comic book store this afternoon.
You did.
And the coverless one was $200.
Wow. Yeah. I saw that price. I was like, ooh, yikes. But I mean, it's an iconic issue and a massively important issue. He says, so Chet, you're going to really be mad at me in about like 60 seconds and just tell me right now. But can I make a joke about this cover? Yeah. Like, you got this amazing team coming together, this issue number 1, and they're playing chess.
Yeah. I'll tell you, John,
screaming Silver Age to me.
I never thought I'd own this book.
Right?
Never did I think I would own this book.
For sure.
Not as a child, not as an adult.
He's clapping for you. He's just in love with this. He's feeling it. you know, and he'll be happy with my issue 1 too. And I'll swap us around here right now.
Okay.
Where am I going? I'm doing that. And I got my issue 1. And that should be a purple label, but it's coming through very blue. In fact, that makes me seem
it
even
looks
more
very
aggressive.
blue.
That's not
it looks
a blue
like
label.
completely blue.
Yeah. I got to fix my color coding there.
Okay, I saw just a little bit, but
there it is, a little more purple. This is a 3.5 of Avengers 1, and obviously a huge thank you. A lot of John's 1 through 20 owes thank you to Steve Whiting and TJ the Slab Dragon.
Yeah.
This book has a little bit of color touch, but it's the staples have been changed out. Then there's new staples on this book, and that has like reinforced the cover. But yeah, there it is. Avengers 1. Oh, now I made you tiny. Should I make us equal size?
Oh, that's fine.
I swear if you take the Avengers out of that slab, you lose my number. The back cover looks pretty good. The wrap is a little off, so you can see the pages coming through, but looking very good. Gore Vidal.
Hey, Gore.
I was texting with this gentleman today. Magic Lasso didn't think he'd own Section 8
I still
either.
do not own Section 8.
Unslab your books. You guys are hilarious. So there's issue number 1. We're gonna go through our first 10 issues of this series. So let me do issue 2.
And like I said, we'll be talking in details about all these issues and the covers and stuff on their respective shows.
We're just gonna spend a little time right now sharing the first 10 in our collection and kind of what the story is, if there's any stories behind that. So here's issue 2, and that's so if I put them together, maybe we can see that one is more purple than the other, right?
Nope.
A little bit. Yeah. Not so. There it is a little bit. Issue 2, I also owe to Steve Whiting. I was supposed to go to MegaCon in Orlando, and then COVID hit, and he was like, "Look, I've saved this book. I'm just going to send it to you." And I was like, "Wow, that's incredible." And then I went to MegaCon last year, and he gave me the Avengers issue 1. So he upped himself there as well. Very yellow cover, and this is a comment on the Hulk being in these early issues, but in this case, not so much the Hulk, and we'll get into that a little bit here. But let's check in with Magic Lasso and his issue 2.
Here we have A Doorway to Where.
I love that cover.
Read to find out. So,
and that's the back cover of the omnibus. They've got that.
Is.
They've got that on the omnibus I bought.
And one thing to notice, if you didn't notice it or didn't know this already, and didn't notice it with the 2 books I've shown already, where are Batman? Where are Superman?
Nope. It took a little while. Yeah. Much like Where's Captain America in those early Avengers books. Not so much. When did you get that book? When did you get that one?
It was maybe about 8 months after I got issue 1. Because I'm like, well, if I got issue 1, I have to get an issue 2. And there's a place that I order from on a regular basis, and it came up as new inventory for them, and the price was within my budget.
Yeah.
And it's a place that, I'm comfortable with their grading and stuff too. If they say this is wrong with it, then it's wrong with it, or whatever. I trust them. And just did it.
That's awesome. Candace says, I'm going to request that slab from you, Chet. Chet's like, Candace, I'm leaving the country if you do. Let's see. Now I'm happy with whatever you send me. I only have 2 slabs. Well, we're going to fix that over there.
I was worried that Candace X'd out of the chat when I suggested, that her prize winning could come to me for my wall. And then I didn't hear from her for a long time. I'm like, uh-oh, she is X'd out of this chat.
She giggled for sure. Okay. I do love the pink cover as well, Ruben. Yeah. I think that's an underused color, and it pops.
So it's color. Yellow versus pink when we get to
right. It'll be yellow versus pink when we do that next month. We got Eric from Side Quest. What is going on? Yeah, we're on to a new set of omnibus here tonight. We're discussing other omnis, right?
You want to show your number 2?
Oh, the decadence! I just did my number 2, so
yeah, that's right. Sorry,
you can do your number.
So this
3.
one. That last one I did not get from my comic shop, but this one I did. And I was just looking through my comic shop one day and I went, oh my gosh. I'm like, that's in my budget.
They're in like a Viking boat there.
Yeah.
They're making all the Avengers row.
They're making
I feel like Justice Leaguers row. One side has, those guys too. one side has all the muscle, because you think about Flash and Green Lantern not necessarily having the physical strength of Manhunter, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. I feel like they're going to go in circles at that point. I'm just going to just go round and round. Look, you got Old Wolf. Look at him. He's like loving these JLA covers.
He's howling.
There it is. Bobby De La Ghetto is in the chat. What's going on, my man? Bobby. He won the first pick in the next season of New Mutants Omnibus New Mutants, and he picked the very first issue. That means when we do our first discussion on New Mutants next season, expect some Bobby De La Ghetto.
Oh, Candace, I did miss that comment. You and I will have to talk.
You're gonna design something cool for your wall with my graphic design skills.
Talk on the Instagram.
Yes, love it. All right, so that was your issue 3. And this is where Chet stops watching my YouTube channel.
It was nice knowing you, Chet.
Right. This is my issue number 3. And this was the final issue I got to complete 1 through 20 in my run. It's a very nice copy. And the reason I wanted to take these out is because some of these I've never opened. And I don't know if there's like a signature on the first page, if there's a missing anything. Some of these I've been too scared to open. So this is my first chance to really glance through these and touch these. So I'm sorry, Chet, if this is adding anxiety to your moment here.
He is gone.
This is issue 3 of Avengers. It looks complete. It looks held together. It looks in great shape. And I trusted my friend from Take the Time Collectibles, Brian. Who sold me this. I had no doubt about the veracity of his claims, and it does look complete. It has all the pages. Call the police all you want, but this is a beautiful book, and there's a lot of spine wear on it, but it's a beauty. The colors pop. It's held together well, and yeah, there it is. And I even kept it with the note that Brian sent along, so that I can always know like where it came from and the value of that man. Yeah, he's calling the police. Candace, if you send Ryan your work, I'll send him the command strips.
See, reading that comment, my wheels turned. Command strips are what you put on the wall, so
to put it hang
off. Yes,
got it.
But I thought, there needs to be Serpentor command strips, and he goes, "This I command."
Goverdal says All-Star Section 8 number 4 for Ryan. It has Wonder Woman in it. Yeah, that a great smell. I'm not gonna lie, great smell. Touch old paper with your bare hands the way it was meant to be touched. Nice book. Now put it away. All right, well, let's jump to number 4, and I'll make people happy because that one's in a slab. Of course, it's the first appearance of Captain America in the Silver Age, missing from all of his bronze or his Gold Age periods. What I love about this slab is that it has the date stamp right in the middle, and it's Christmas Eve from 1963. Wow.
That's cool.
So, December 24th, 1963, which is always going to burn in my head whenever anybody wants to know when this book was published. Now it's burned in my head because of this amazing date stamp. I just got this book last summer. This is one of the few times I've ever done a payment plan because I got this and the first appearance of Black Panther in a pair together. And I spent all summer last summer kind of like in installments paying it off. And it's made an absolute dent in my collection. These 2 books are gorgeous. So yeah, it's not in amazing shape. It's got a funky wrap, and it's got a lot of spine ticks and things, but the colors are so strong. Sweet Christmas. There it is. Sweet Christmas. No, I'm not cracking this open. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm not that much of a psycho. I'm a half a psycho. Who's going to pull the first signature book? It's not going to be me.
It's not going to be me.
I have nothing signed in the first 20. So there you go.
Everyone associated with my first 10 have passed away for a long time.
Yeah, I'd have to. I mean, I will say this, though. I was in the process of buying this book signed by Stan Lee when he passed away. And the book jumped so high in value, I couldn't afford it. Yeah. But I almost had it done. But let's see your issue number 4.
Hey, I got a new member in the team in my issue 4 as well.
There he is.
And this is one that I just got earlier this year. So At the start of this year, this was the oldest book that I needed for my collection. Obviously not the case anymore. Right. I was surprised at how good of a deal you can still get this issue for.
And a great yellow cover too.
Yep, back to the yellow.
So. Yeah, and Oliver shows up and he's already shooting arrows at people.
Like, yeah, exactly. But he's gonna save them.
Yeah. Chris Evans is the man who brought sexy back to Cap. His birthday is June 13th, 1981. All right. So
I'm a huge Chris Evans fan.
My birthday is the 22nd, so I'm a week from Saturday. That's where I'm coming up. That's a beautiful cover. I do think that's one of my favorite early JLA covers. I just like the perspective, the colors. It really pops.
Yeah,
that's a great one.
And then the last book that I needed to complete the first 12 is this book. And where did I get this book from?
Really familiar to me.
This came from John, and John bought this for me this year at WonderCon. And clear backing board in it. So
that was what sold me on it ultimately, because I took it off the shelf and I was instantly able to see how nice the back cover looked, and I was like, okay, this is in very good condition. I like it. And then I bundled a few other books, and they threw in a whole collection of backing boards for me, a whole set just for me.
So if you're wondering how that conversation goes, it goes something like this. John, what is the oldest Justice League comic book that you need? Me. Issue 5. Okay, I'm going to get it for you at WonderCon. No, don't do that. Well, too bad. I'm going to do it. See ya.
Well, at that point, we were like neck deep in planning this show.
Yeah.
And I was looking for an issue 3 for the Avengers run. You were looking for an issue 5. And we wanted to like finish 1 through 12. We would both be set.
But I'm like, let's not overpay for these just to have them. Let's not do that.
But I went to WonderCon with a nice little set of money to buy one of our books. And every issue
you struck out.
Every issue 3 of Avengers I saw was garbage and way overpriced. And I was like, fine, I'm going to start looking for Ryan's book instead. And I stumbled on that bad boy, and I was like, that's the winner. It looked in great shape to me.
It is.
Yeah.
And also, I'll say really quick, the weird way that I've associated this book. I remember a few years back when Comic Head 84 went to visit George D. Runk in Minnesota. 84 bought this book as a back issue at a comic store in Minnesota, and I was so jealous that he had it. I'm like, I've always wanted that book, and then I'm like 84 now.
I love it. At least you don't get a tape pull on it. That's a man.
No tape pull.
All right, let's swap over to me now for issue number 5. And I'm going to make Chet mad again because this is another Raw book, and I've opened it up. This is the Lava Men.
The Lava Man.
A very busy cover going on here. Lots of great color work. And again, another one I've never opened. I've never really looked inside this book. I bought a lot of my early Avengers books in a set that I purchased one Christmas. And a friend of mine who worked at my LCS and was he was trying to become a nurse, and he was doing like live-in care for people. And he helped with my stepfather and his Parkinson's, was selling his collection. And I bought a bunch of them from him, including this issue. But I've never opened it. It looks like the top staple is somewhat detached here. So there's definitely some loose pages I'm trying to be a little careful with. The bottom staple is holding it all together, but it looks complete. I don't see any writing. The hot lava man.
Lava man.
And it's all complete. No signatures. It's always good to check with those Silver Age books, because sometimes the artists and writers like to sign on the first inside page, and you might not notice it when you buy it if you don't flip through if we just look at the covers, And
sometimes the owners of the comic book like to write their name on the front cover.
Yeah, John's Comics with Kids.
Yeah,
there we go. All right, I'm gonna jump to number 6, and I got another Raw copy here. This is Baron Zemo showing up with the Masters of Evil. And let's see, was this a TJ? This might have been a book I got from TJ. He sent me a few early Silver Age Avengers issues, and they're generally the ones in the nicest shape. It's getting worse the more you touch the pages. Put it away. Oh goodness. But let's take a look. Let's take a look inside of this one. This one's definitely held together a lot better. It's got a spine split, it looks like, at the bottom. And I'm sorry to use up time. Ooh, that first page. Ooh, in fact, several of the pages are split. The spine split leads all the way in on this one. So the first 5 or 6 pages have about a 2-inch spine split, it looks like. But all the pages are here. All the action contained. I'm kind of glad to be doing this just because it helps me, my awareness of the books themselves and what I've got in my collection. So I'm sorry to slow the show down a little bit for that, but it's all included. The spine split is basically right up to the first staple, a little bit past the first staple all the way through. But there you go. Issue number 6. Let's see Ryan's issue number 6. Whoop, slide you over. Oh, yes, the Wheel of Death. Oops,
that's right. So this was my oldest Justice League comic book for decades, and I bought this as a back issue as a childhood collector. I remember the closest comic book store to me was in a different state. It was an hour drive away. And, when my parents would take me or drop me off or whatever, when they went to that town,
right.
One time I say, what's the oldest Justice League comic book that you have? And this was the oldest one they had. And it was in the budget of, I don't remember how much I paid for it, but it was obviously within the budget of what I had, because I never would spend my entire budget on one book. I would get several books, but this is one that I came out with that day. I mean, issue 6, to have that as a childhood collector, I thought I was something back then. I'm like, I've got an issue 6. I am something.
Dude, a single-digit JLA when you were a kid? Like, come on. I didn't get any of these.
I never thought, for a long time, I never thought I might have an issue even older than 6.
But why would you need it?
This is sentimental value for sure.
Is that a Dr. Light?
No, that's not Dr. Light. He doesn't make his first appearance until issue 12.
Okay.
But I can see where you could think
who's the baddie down there? He's got that monochromatic black-white Dr. Light kind of look, so I wasn't sure.
I'm not sure.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm promising you, Chet, tonight is the one time I'll take them out of the bags and boards. I just want to look at them the one time, smell them the one time, and then I'll know what I got, and then they'll be locked away.
Yeah.
Bought a Batman 200 for $1 as a kid. There you go. That's gorgeous. And Bobby's saying he read a lot of those Stanley Kirby early books in reprints when he was young, or he's got the reprints of those. And that was how I first experienced all of them, were in reprint versions for sure.
Yeah.
Or trades. I read, there were a couple of, like, when they did those Marvel Essential books and things like that, where they collected those books. That's where I read a lot of these Silver Age Avengers books.
So issue 7, I bought the day before Easter last year. You can see it's got a little bit of water staining on it. Which,
this cover is hilarious.
I might upgrade it. This was not expensive at all. And I'm just like, I just have to get it just because it's there.
It's such a ridiculous cover. Oh my gosh.
And I'll tell you something else. They actually did a callback to this issue in a Wonder Woman comic book like a dozen years later after this was published. And they put the plus size Wonder Woman in a story, and she even she even references this adventure.
That's hilarious. I agree, Bobby. It's a great cover, right? This cover is hilarious. And that's part of the fun of the Silver Age, is just you got to be able to put yourself in the mindset of 1960s to really get kind of what culturally was going on. And we try to do that a little bit with Omni X-Men, because that show obviously has a dated 70s, 80s vibe. You got to be able to get into those books. And it's just more complicated here, right? It's just you're going further back in your time machine, right? You're not a dog in a park. You don't need to sniff them. You're wrong. You're just wrong, sir. Don't be too hard. The newsprint has been known to be toxic. Don't breathe.
What a way to go.
Right? That's not plus size. That's hydraulic lift size. Don't be body shaming in my chat.
Yeah.
Chat, I know you got the flex, but like, come on, man. So we're gonna jump to my favorite of the covers from the early Avengers. I something about this cover I love. So this is Avengers issue really 7. Good.
So what I've noticed with a lot of those Avengers covers you've been showing, they're trying to fit so much of the team in together on one cover that you don't get like a good big spotlight on someone. Where here you get one. Yeah.
And that hammer spin by Kirby looks so fantastic. The villains all recoiling in fear.
Although they kind of look like they're dancing.
Well,
I
they
mean,
do. And then that one guy's getting stepped on by
oh
Thor's
yeah, he
foot.
is. Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know how Thor's foot is on top of that
yeah.
guy.
I mean,
So,
if I Photoshop them out and
uh,
put Disco Dazzler in there, they're dancing. You
right.
know?
This is fair. So this is my favorite cover from
Yeah,
that
that's a
run.
good
And I
one.
think to your point, it's because that they give Thor that moment.
Mhm.
I bought this in that set of books, and it's all held together. Double staples look great. I'm just curious if it's missing anything. I don't see any signatures. It smells great, Jen. You're missing out. It looks well held together. Very Kirby. The Kirby crackle is happening here. No issues with detached pages or anything like that. And no missing Marvel stamps or anything. The wrap is really off. So it's got a big spine curl right here. And that's the only impact it's having.
But
But there
that
it is, issue
blue on the
7.
cover in the background is popping.
It does indeed.
Yeah.
And let's get to issue 8, the biggest key of late, with all the Kang drama going on. It's raw. I do not have a slabbed version, but this is probably my most beat up book in this run. And this
Hey,
was part of
Beckerman.
that. Yeah, Becker's in the chat. What's going on, sir? I think he's heading over to Heroes Con here soon. So say hi to everybody. Give extra hugs for everybody for us. Good to see you, sir. We're talking Silver Age Avengers and Justice League. And this is issue 8. And it's got a lot of spine damage you can see going on here. I'm curious. I've never opened this one. I thought it was not really holding together well, but it actually is. It remarkably holding together, which I'm happy to see. And I've never flipped through it to verify that it's all there. I should probably slab it at some point just to keep it in safe keeping. Obviously, first Kang is a big issue. But I got it in such a low grade. I was always like hesitant to have anybody touch it, to clean it, to press it. What are you going to do? Oof. Yeah. And the pages are very brittle. So this is probably the last time I'm ever opening it. The back cover is missing some little chunks out of it. So this is the last time I'm probably ever opening this bad boy. I'm just going to put it away, Chet, forever. You can be happy to know it's going in its Mylar magic for quite a while. Some love for oh no, Heroes Con for Beck. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry to hear that. We can make each other feel better about missing out on it together. Maybe hang out on a live stream together. Happy 9092 sold my 7.5. Wow, some Kang goodness. JP, we do what we can do. We do what we can do. But I'm going to throw up Ryan here. He's going to do issue number 8 from Justice League of America.
Hey, I'm not at Heroes Con either, but one of my comic books is.
Really?
Yeah, one of my books is at Heroes Con.
Nice.
Signed. So
nice.
So on the same day that I bought my issue number 7 at the same comic show, which was in a mall in Madison, Wisconsin last year, day before Easter, I also bought an issue 8 from a different seller, though.
Nice.
And I think this is a nice little classic cover. You can buy the Justice League.
Nice. Yeah. Auction them off.
Yeah, auction them off. So
I can't afford them, but Wonder Woman for a good price. Like who would say no, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's giving me a Carnival Barker Banshee vibes.
Yeah, Banshee.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great point. Candace talks about those old school ads, and it's one of the best things about the facsimile versions of these books that they've been releasing, if you can find them, is that the ads are included. And I totally agree. It does implant a bit of nostalgia and history when you see the Red Ryder gun ads and things like that. But I
also like looking at the in-house trade ads for what else was about to come out.
What other books
sale.
were? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I did see the annual, the Fantastic Four annual that gave the origin story of Dr. Doom in Avengers 8. It was in there.
Oh, nice.
So that annual showing Doom with his hand reaching in, another lurking Doom cover. So that was kind of fun when I saw that. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So the next issue is probably my favorite cover.
Okay.
Out of the first 10. Happy Arbor Day.
Yeah, the trees. Yeah, so good.
So this is issue 9. This is the origin of the Justice League of America. So that Brave and the Bold 28, according to this, was not the first time that they got together as the Justice League. This is the untold story of their very first adventure together.
Okay, predating.
Yes. Now a couple
Brave and the Bold.
You know, like 2 decades later, they would try to do another story that said even predated this one, but no one accepted that as canon. Everyone's like, forget that. So this is still considered their original origin. This is
I love it.
You know, this is a very sought after book for many reasons. This is probably out of the first 10 that I'm showing, probably my highest grade in terms of condition wise. This one is probably the nicest.
That's fantastic.
And I'm so happy to get this. I also remember there was a comic book store that had this as because this is quite often a wall book for people. And this comic book store, I don't know if it's because of the display or what the deal was with this, but Flash was almost completely missing. He wasn't even pink. He was white. Like all the red in Flash, just in Flash and no one else. But
That's
just
funny.
in Flash there was a few residue of pink.
That's funny.
But most of it was just white.
Like somebody had gone and erased it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like they tried to clean it or something.
Yeah.
That's funny. Bobby says he owns that issue. To beat to hell, he loves it. It ties with his JLA issue 200.
Yeah, it certainly does.
I don't think that exists, Gore. I don't know that there is a Scott Summers safe place, but I like that you're promoting it and JP is not calling you out on it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So that's my issue 9.
All right. Now, do I do 9? Is it my turn to swap in? Okay. Issue 9 is a slabbed issue because this was the one. So my friend TJ Slabdragon Watson, who I haven't seen in the chat, he may be watching lurk. He tends to lurk, catch the rewind. He gifted me a couple of great early Avengers issues, and they came from a collection that he purchased in his area of Michigan, and he got from a young gentleman who had passed away, and his parents were selling his collection. And he had a bunch of great Silver Age, early Bronze comics in amazing condition. And to mark them, TJ went through and used these stickers, these colored little stickers on the back of the slab, or the Mylars, and he marked things down on them. So when I got those books, I kept the stickers when I put them in new bags and boards, and anytime I moved them around, I kept those stickers because it reminded me of how this young man had collected these books. He'd passed away young, and then the books had found their way to TJ, and he was sentimental about the journey those comics had gone on. The books were kept in amazing condition, and this is my highest grade issue in the top 20 issues, and that is a 7.5 of the first Wonder Man.
Wonder Man?
Yeah, there's a Wonder Man as well. This book is gorgeous, and it came from this young man's collection, and it's the last slab I think I have in the first 20 issues. But it's absolutely beautiful. It's in great condition. The colors pop, and the back cover has a lot of still white on it. It's really impressive for a book that's from 1964. You know, it looks really great. So thank you to TJ for this gift.
TJ
and it
awesome.
And it was one when I sent my first set of non-modern books into CGC. I made sure this got pressed, cleaned, slabbed, because I knew how beautiful this book was, and that in the early Avengers comics I owned, this book was in the most impressive shape, and I wanted to make sure it was encapsulated. So I made sure that TJ knew this was going in to CGC.
My facsimile of that's in pretty darn good shape.
I mean, I would hope so.
It is.
What's up, Kevin? And then the last one is a Raw book. This is issue 10. An Immortus, so a Kang adjacent storyline, and this was another one from TJ. This one has the little sticker on the back. You can kind of see what those look like. So you can the books I got from TJ that were part of that collection he purchased have those stickers, and I've definitely made sure that whenever they switch bags, they keep the stickers there. But again, super white cover considering the era and the age. Because this one wasn't as big of a key, I did not press clean and send this one in, but I'm sure it would rank pretty high as well, probably in that same range. It's got a discoloration right there in the top, And then other than that, looks like it's in great shape. One of the staples looks a little funky. You mentioned people writing their names on the inside. Well, this is Richard writing his name. I don't know if you can see that right above the words Avengers break up. There it is a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It says Richard Whitehead. He wrote his name in there. So there's your first signature.
Yeah, there you go, Signature King.
Yeah, there's a signature on page 1 of this issue. And I'm just flipping through it because I've never flipped through these books, and I kind of want to do this. And as we continue through the first 30 issues, whenever I have a raw copy, I will open it because I do want to see these books. I want to smell them. I want to see the ads, learn how to play guitar in 7 days.
Yeah.
I want to see those things, get a chance to experience it, and then make sure that I put it back in the bag and board. I will not hold it out for very long. So there you go. A really great copy. This would probably rank in the same 7.5 range-ish by my quick guess here. It would need a press and a clean, but I think it would get there. So there you go. My first 10 Avengers. Let's finish off the 10th Justice League. Oops, slide that over. There you go.
First appearance of Felix Faust, issue number 10. I think I got this at the beginning of the year as well at a comic show. Wasn't necessarily looking for it. And I was at this comic show and this dealer had it. And I was just like, yeah, I'm like, I've started to learn now that sometimes comic books find you. And I'm like, this has found me. Don't go any further without buying this, because if you leave and say, well, I'll come back and get it, it will be gone. So,
but such a creepy cover. I always remember like the creepy fingers.
But we finally have, Superman and Batman on the cover.
And a lot of yellow covers in that first set of 10.
I noticed that too,
yeah. For those that haven't subbed up yet, sub Mr. Lasso. And let's please do this, because on Sunday night, he's hosting Signature King and Tony Fett, and they're discussing the original Brave and the Bold books that launched the Justice League. So get on over there for that. And then next Wednesday, he and I are doing Avengers issue 1 versus Justice League of America issue 1. Isn't that how we're calling it?
No, JLA versus Avengers.
That's what it is. And we'll break down those books. We'll go through the stories. We'll go through the characters. We'll go through the art, and we'll discuss it all. Let me put us back to normal size here. So yeah, his link to his channel is down below. And if JP is still in the chat, he can drop that link as well for Magi Lasso, because that's where we're going to be. Hit the notification bell this same time, same bat time, a different bat channel next week. We'll be over Magi Lasso.
Let's just throw out some trivia and see how well you know.
Now we're into the trivia section. We're gonna do trivia, and then we're gonna do,
for the fun of it. Candace won all the prizes last night,
right?
So
we're not giving away prizes. The chat can try to guess. The reality is, like, I wanted to know how well Ryan knows these teams, and I knew for a fact. I joked with Ryan going in, I will not know a lot of this stuff. So I'm curious to see if I can get anything, but I will not answer till the chat's had a bit of a turn. I'm going to turn my chat off by clicking away to a different section,
I'll do that too.
So that I can't see the chat.
Hey guys, I will tell you how this went. He calls me up on the phone. He goes, okay, I'm getting my trivia ready. And he goes, oh, I'm going to write it right now. So I sit there and wait for him to research and write these questions. And he goes, do you know the answer to such and such? And I say, yes. And he's, oh, I'm not using that question. That's how the conversation went.
It's true. Ryan and I have gotten to a place where every time I'm doing sitting waiting for Charlie's soccer practice to end, I'm usually on the phone with Ryan just talking about silly whatever. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, this week it was these questions. Now, do you want to go first or do you want to go second with your questions?
I don't care.
All right, I'm going to go first.
Go for it.
I know that we know.
Look away from the chat as well. I'm clicking off.
I know that we know that the original female member of the Justice League was Wonder Woman. I know that we know that. So my question has 4 parts. I want to know who the second and third women to join the Justice League, and if you can, what were the years in which they joined?
Second one is Black Canary, and that was. Issue 75 is where she joined. It's a great fishnet cover. And that would be, let me think here. I want to say 68. 68 or 69.
69.
69, okay.
Nice. Oh, yeah, so that is correct.
I actually saw a copy of that at a comic book store.
So the second female member of the Justice League of America was Black Canary in 1969.
Yeah,
Who was
20
the
plus years?
And I'm trying to slow us down just so that the chat can try to plug in their third.
I'm not looking.
The third woman to join the JLA.
I'm pretty sure I know that.
And what year do you think that was?
The year is going to be harder for me, but I'm pretty sure I know who the third woman is.
I think you would know. I figured you would know all of them, but I didn't know if you'd know the years.
It's Hawk. She was Hawk Girl then.
Yes.
But they call her Hawk Woman now, but then she was Hawk Girl.
Right.
And
it's a very good year.
That would be the year you were born. So 1820. Let's see.
This guy.
How old are you?
Oh my God. I'm very old.
It's 78 or 79.
It was 1977.
Okay,
I'm even older than your guess. Right. So that was, let me see if anybody in the chat was able to get it. Hawk Girl right there. There it was. I don't know anything about this stuff. Well, there you go. There you go. And JP is still in our chat and he's still dropping links. Much appreciated. That's the link to Magic Lasso's YouTube. You want to hit the notification bell and be over there for next week. Zatanna is a very good guess. She might have been
she's the third.
The fourth.
That would be the fourth female, woman.
Yeah, good one. This guy, I know he knows the year because he's 78. He's like right after. He was right after. Great, good job.
But I'll tell you one thing, okay?
Okay.
And this is not your trivia question, okay?
No.
This is just, you know what? I'll make this a chat trivia question.
There you go.
That?
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The very last issue of Justice League of America, very last issue of Volume 1, had one character on the cover, and it was a female character, and it's probably not one that you would expect to be on the cover. Who was it?
Who would it have been? A female JLA member on the final cover. Yeah, like prominent. I'm assuming you mean prominent. By herself.
There are like no other JLA characters on the cover.
Ooh,
it was just her.
Wow. A JLA.
I bet it's one that. I bet it's one, John, that you'll go. She was a JLA member.
I'll go with Mira. I'll just throw Mira.
Oh, that's a good guess, but it's not. It's not Mira.
Okay. Hack is in the chat. Hey. Hack has been blowing up his YouTube channel. He's been crushing it with all his shorts and stuff. Good to see you, sir. I hope things are going well. Adam is in the chat. What's going on? Adam makes a He's I guess that only the Super Friends can. His only guesses are from the Super Friends. There it is. Was it
not
fire?
No, but you're on the right track with that type of character. So
okay, all right. So maybe an international character coming over.
No, but not. I mean, where fire isn't like a hugely known.
A smaller
name. It's a smaller. It's a B-lister.
All right. So who was it?
Vixen.
I would never have gotten there.
Vixen.
I would never have gotten there.
Yeah.
All right.
John.
You want to do your first? Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's see. Which one do I?
I'm stressing about this because I'm worried that it's going to show through how little I know about these characters.
Okay, I'm going to throw you what I think is a bone. Okay. Not a boner, just a bone.
It's already awkward. I got to move the chat off. I was just moving the chat.
Okay.
Close the chat. There we go. I'm back.
Okay. Jocasta is a clone of who?
Okay, this one I got. Yeah, this one I've got, and I know your love for this character because there's a lot of jokes going on in chats with you and I when it comes to Jocasta. So I am aware of the fact of her relationship to Ultron. Right. So the fact that they both are basically these metal characters based on other Avengers characters, because Ultron is supposed to come from Wonder Man and be built from him and Vision's selves. So you're saying Jocasta is based on which character? Where did they draw her energy from?
Which Avenger? Yeah.
That's tricky. An Avenger. She's from an Avenger. I would have thought it was Medusa with the hair.
Nope.
Crud. She does have like a fire thing. Is it Fire? What's his name? The Fire Lord, the guy with the baton. Okay, I don't know it. This is a bone.
Wasp.
Based on Wasp. Okay.
And supposedly Jocasta's voice is a metallic version of Wasp's voice.
Janet, I don't think you spelled that right, Bobby. We got Mark from the Legion of Comics in the chat. What's going on? Yeah, I covered the chat, so I couldn't see it.
Yeah, okay.
Vixen is very cool. Candace has animal powers and can channel power of the different creatures. Okay, there you go. Because Ant-Man is built by Ultron's built by Ant-Man. So there you go. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. All right, I've got an Avengers question for you. Let's see.
Click off the chat so I'm not looking.
Right. What was the first? No, sorry. Wait, did I do this right? Okay, I think I wrote the question wrong. Who were the next?
After the original team, who were the first ones to take over? Is that your question?
That's my question. I think I
okay. So Captain America.
Here it is. No, here it is. I got it.
Okay.
Obviously, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were the ones that launched the Avengers. Mm-hmm. What issue was the first one not drawn by Kirby and who took over? And what issue was the first one not written by Stan and who took over?
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah. So
I thought you were going to say who were the.
I want the first writer other than Stan and the first artist other than Jack to take over.
I'm going to say 16 for writer.
So issue 16 on writer is, I mean, the issue number matters less to me because I mean, some of that is like, how do you keep track? You know what I mean?
Okay.
But who do you think took over as the next writer or the next artist? Because I had to look this up because I think I knew the names, but I wasn't sure when it happened.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, do you have any guesses?
Tom King.
And Adam's like, geez, these are Final Jeopardy questions.
Yeah. That one was mean. I don't feel so bad.
Bobby's got it.
Question.
Don Heck.
Okay.
He did issue 9.
Heck yeah.
So he did your Wonder Man issue. This is a Don Heck interior art on this issue. The Wonder Man?
Don Heck. Did Don Heck draw Wonder Woman? I think he did for a time. Maybe. But not until later.
So issue 9 was the first one that Don took over as artist.
Okay.
But it took 35 issues of Stan before issue 36 when a new writer came on. That had quite a solid run following Stan.
Roy Thomas. Yeah, he did have a long run. All right.
So J Hood gets a little, emotional validation. He knows that he had the correct answer. I knew it was Roy. I had no clue what issue it occurred at, but I knew that Stan did not release the reins of that comic for quite a while. Reprint knowledge, says Bobby. Well, there you go. That was the whole point. All right, so I've given you one JLA question and one Avengers question. Where are you at?
I'm going to give you an Avengers question now.
I mean, you did Jocasta, so I haven't gotten a JLA question. Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm a little salty about. I'm a little salty about that. I have some extra questions written just in case.
You gave me the easy one and I blew it. So there you go.
Okay. Who we already covered when I showed you the first 10 issues.
Yes.
That Green Arrow became the first non-charter member.
Right.
To join the JLA.
Right.
Who was the second?
Who's the second?
Yep. Just the character.
So the charter ones don't include Batman and Superman. So I'm assuming
they were considered honorary members. So
so you're not counting those two.
I'm not counting them
because they weren't original crew. They came.
They
later.
Made some cameo appearances sometimes in the beginning and at the end.
Okay,
but they were considered charter. You know, they were. Yeah, they're considered charter members, but they were.
So we'll count them in, and we'll move beyond the two of them.
So Green Arrow was the first official one
to join
after.
Right.
Who's the second?
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. It's not Vixen.
Yikes. Was it Jon Stewart?
No.
Darn it. I thought I had that one. Because he came in pretty early. And it wasn't Black Canary, because that was a while after. I'm assuming it's a guy, because it was a lot of men at that point. So that's why I went with Stewart first. Okay. Ooh, tricky. I don't know. I give up. Who we got?
The Atom.
Oh, I should have known that. That's a great one. Ooh, and JP is doing really well in this chat.
Hawkman came after Atom.
I don't think it was Speedball, Bobby. Or Dr. Detroit. So I'm 0 for 2. You are 1 for 2 so far. You're doing much better than me.
Right.
Do you want your final Justice League question or your final Avengers question?
I don't care. I'm good with either one.
I'm going to do your Avengers question. Okay. Who, and you don't need to give me the years, but we can play with the years if we want to. Who were the first 3 female Avengers characters? There's one that's pretty easy because she's a founder.
Wasp.
Yeah.
Then Scarlet Witch.
Correct.
And then the third is Black Widow.
Correct. Boom, boom, boom. He got all 3, folks. And the chat didn't even have chance to blink. They're like, wait, what happened? What happened? I blacked out. The year. Widow. Do you want to guess the years for Scarlet Witch and Black Widow?
Wasp is 63.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch is probably 65.
Correct.
And then Black Widow 67.
73.
73, okay.
It took a while. To get in there. I was way too slow a typer. Correct, Bobby. And obviously in this first omnibus, we will get to Scarlet Witch and the Wasp, but it'll be a while. If you're waiting on Black Widow, it'll be a while. You got some time on that one. All right, so there you go. You are crushing this. You are crushing this with your knowledge. I am failing this class, but that's why I'm here. I'm showing up for this class because I want to learn. This is getting the syllabus at the beginning.
I'm going to actually give you a choice of which question you can have, because I have 2 questions that are similar. And I'm going to complete different answers, though. I'm going to let you choose which question you want, okay?
Okay.
Look how nice I'm going to be.
Okay.
Either you can tell me how far above Earth is the JLA satellite, or that's an easy one for Justice League fans.
In miles?
Yeah.
It's not kilometers, right? I don't need to compute.
Or
okay.
Their original headquarters was in Happy Harbor. What state is Happy Harbor in, according to the comic book?
Oh my God! So it's in one of the U.S. states. It's not
one of the U.S. states,
because a lot of those cities.
Fake state, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of those cities don't really exist. So okay,
I don't know if Happy Harbor exists or not, but they claim it's in a particular state.
And there's no way I know the distance in miles and how high up that place is, but I'll just guess 1,000 miles.
No.
Okay. Happy Harbor is got to be an East Coast state, I'm assuming. So let's go with. New York seems too obvious, so it's probably not that. Let's go with Massachusetts.
No, that's a good guess, though. But no.
Okay. I guess it could be farther south, like Virginia.
No.
All right. Well, what's the state and the distance? Because let's see what the chat's got. The chat's saying 616 miles. I don't think it's the 616. 50 miles, says JP.
No.
That doesn't seem far enough to me. That seems pretty short.
If it was just 50 miles above the Earth,
it's in the atmosphere at that point.
Yeah.
A lot of guesses of Maryland, Michigan.
That's actually now Michigan. They ended up at the end. That's where they ended at, was in Michigan, but not in the beginning. Massachusetts is a better guess, but it's not correct.
Hello, Christina. Thank you for coming by. We're doing some Justice League and we're doing some Avengers Silver Age trivia. We're trying to figure out how far up is the satellite for the
higher than Bobby is right
League.
now.
Is that possible? I don't know if it's possible. All right, give me the distance in miles. Okay. How far up is it?
And I want to tell you something. This, at least in the Bronze Age, was in almost every, 22,300 miles.
Wow.
Because that was in almost every issue.
Whenever they discussed the satellite, they gave you that.
Yeah, and now 22,300 miles above Earth. Yep, 22,300. Give that man 50 silver dollars.
There it is. And then what state? I'm assuming it's an East Coast state.
Yeah, so they started out, their headquarters was in a cave in a town called Happy Harbor. Yeah, the satellite's a big upgrade when you've been meeting in a cave.
Yeah.
In a town called Happy Harbor. What state is Happy Harbor in?
Pennsylvania?
No. Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, the smallest U.S. state, has the Justice League. I would never have guessed that. That's hilarious. Above the equator, 22,300 miles above the equator. That's where Elon Musk hit his space satellite. Yeah. That's a great bit of trivia, and I'm happy to have we'll see how long I hold on to it, but happy to have that information in my mind for now. All right, we've done the 2 Avengers questions. We've done 1 Justice League question. My last question, I want the year and I want the person. Okay. Sorry, I'll close I don't need to close the chat. You do need to close
the chat. I got it closed.
Who was the first African-American JLA member and what year did they join?
Thinking it's Vixen, but give me a second. Oh, wait. No, wait, hold on. No. Well, now there's an asterisk on this one.
There is.
Because it depends on if you consider Martian Manhunter.
No, I don't count him as African American because his race is Martian. Like,
okay,
to count him as African American.
His Earth form originally was white, and then they kind of changed his Earth form
retroactively. Yeah. No,
okay,
he's a Martian.
Take that out.
His race is Martian. Like, it's in his name. He's thinking still.
It must be John Stewart. But the thing is, I don't know if just a Green Lantern is considered a JLA member or if Hal Jordan has to be considered the JLA member. Because I have the second appearance of John Stewart, which is in a Justice League comic book.
It is.
And he goes and he arrives at the satellite and they're all like, who the heck are you? Like, we don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And Flash
I'm going to beat you down, sucker.
Flash is like, Green Lantern's my best friend. I've never heard of you.
Right.
I know that Black Lightning was offered membership but turned it down.
And I did notice that when I researched this trivia question, that there were characters who were offered the job who turned it down. And I'm not counting that. That's a loophole I'm not counting. They had to officially play a part as a member of the team, even if it was just a short time to cover for somebody else.
And it's got to be John Stewart.
It is John Stewart.
And it's 73.
Oh, he's so dang close. Yes, so John Stewart covered 74? For Hal in 1974.
Okay.
There it is.
I'm always like a year off, but I'm pretty close. So I'm almost there.
Shout out to JP because he mentioned it and he said, John said it earlier. I did. I might have pimped my answer there a little bit. So there you go. You've done remarkably well. 3 out of 4 on my trivia questions. I'm still a donut for 3. Give me the last question.
Okay, here's your last question.
Yeah.
What comic book hosts the first appearance of Jarvis? And I'm talking the Butler.
Yeah, because he was not a sentient robot. It was an actual dude.
I'm talking the actual Edwin Jarvis.
Oh man. Oh my goodness. Because he was the guy always running the entry point for the Avengers Tower for all the comics. He was always in his Butler uniform. He was very Alfred-y. Oh man. I'm assuming because you're asking it that means he did not appear in any of the early Tales of Suspense, but maybe he did. That maybe his first appearance was in an Avengers book. Dang, I should know this. That's a great question. There's no way I know this question. I will go. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go Avengers 4.
No.
Is it an Avengers book?
No, his second appearance is an Avengers book.
Okay.
But his first appearance was Tales of Suspense.
Darn it.
Number 39.
39. There it is. Wow, 38 issues of Tales of Suspense before they got around to bringing in Jarvis. All right.
And then we don't see him in Avengers until issue 16.
Me too, Bobby. Me too, buddy. Yeah. That was fantastic. There's a little Avengers and Justice League trivia for you if you're very unfamiliar with these worlds. Maybe you got a little bit of knowledge there, a little bit of information to bring you along. So what was the first Avengers issue you said he appeared in? His second
16.
appearance? 16. So we will get to that issue in this run.
Isn't that the one where the lineup changes?
Let's see, issue 16.
Isn't that the one with Cap on the cover?
Yes,
and then
Avengers Assemble. That's when you get Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So those that have just joined us, come in and come out. This is the launch party next Wednesday on Magi Lasso's YouTube channel, which is linked down below. And JP dropped the link earlier. We're going to be talking about the first issue of Avengers and the first issue of Justice League of America. And we're going to debate all the little nuances of these books, have a great conversation with you in the chat, and let you decide which is the better book. Not for value, not for spec, but for the quality of the story, the art, the cover, and all the elements involved inside. And this is the kickoff where we're just really announcing this fun new Silver Age reading team book story show.
So JP should be very glad that it wasn't one of our rejected ideas.
Which brings us to the final discussion point. Ryan has compiled all the other ideas that we put together of what we could have done besides this Silver Age team series. What are some of the rejected series?
Some of these we discussed in length and then ruled against, and some of them was a no from the beginning. I'll let you swallow that first.
Yeah, I don't want anything about drink. I don't want to drink anything while we do this. Okay, rejected Magi Lasso John's Comics with Kids live streams.
2 Guys, 1 Eye, a tribute to Cyclops.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly on John's Comics with Kids. It's not gonna go. But Adam says a Power Pack live stream.
Power Pack, yeah. This one I was really miffed that you didn't want to do.
Okay.
Because I wanted to take all different female heroes from Marvel and DC.
I like it.
And put Lilandra hair on them. And then call the show Here She Are.
I mean,
and you didn't want to do that. You said they would get old. Yes.
This is what I said to that. No, we'll go to YouTube jail on that one. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Then the one that you thought I was just joking with, and I was serious. WWWW. What would Wasp wear? Where we look at celebrities and their fashions and say, would Wasp actually wear a meat dress?
I mean, she probably would. Her fashion sense is atrocious, like bad, and like she spends most of Secret Wars wondering about her hair and having Magneto build her a brush.
Yeah, oh my God. It's exactly priorities.
The She Are hair. She Are.
Yep.
Right. You could hear it.
I said this on Fanboys, I think this past week, and I said, where does Wonder Woman go to get her hair done?
Yeah, there you go.
Ray Hera.
Not around Tyga, she wouldn't.
Then when I wanted to do the gender switch show, where we talk about, and then we didn't come up with a name with it, but you weren't on board when I said that our first comic book hero that we could feature would be Fred Sonia.
Would they wear the ironclad bikini?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm assuming that was like required. Okay.
Who's stirring the spaghetti sauce? The love life of superheroes? Nope, not doing that one.
It's a all Havoc storyline.
Yeah.
The Wednesday puns. Welcome in.
Yeah. I said because people with my branding would associate something with Wonder Woman. We do the Wonder Show where I would wonder how I would actually get Justin's GSX1.
The Wunder Show.
The Wonder Show. No.
Candace is here for the creativity. That's what she wants.
I love this one. And with the name, you just flat out, I remember this. My feelings were almost hurt on this one because with the name, you flat out rejected it.
Probably.
Everything old is Nubia again.
You're the only one, Joel. You're the only one.
Uh-huh.
The Summers brothers do not need a live stream.
The
Wunderbar.
GLGLs, the good-looking Green Lanterns.
I would absolutely do that show because they all are. There's no ugly Green Lantern.
Even the Poozer?
The Poozer is phenomenal. I love that guy.
You know, I've been wanting to do
Kilowog.
Kilowog, yeah. I've been wanting to do Omni Alpha Flight and call it Omni AF. And you all laugh at me when I say that. Omni AF. And then you guys read that Alpha Flight miniseries, and that sealed the end of that show ever happening.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to talk Bueller into letting me do a live stream with him like he used to do with Sam because he had the BS show, and I said it could be the BJ show.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't like the Bueller John show being abbreviated that way. And it got another rejected show.
Then the last one I think on my notes that I had that got passed on was the Razzler Dazzler show.
Give him the old razzle dazzle.
Razzler Dazzler.
Razzle dazzle.
Yes. So these are all shows that you could have had.
You could have had. But instead, you're getting Avengers versus Justice League.
JLA versus Avengers.
JLA. Sorry, I got it backwards. I get it mixed up. It depends on who's hosting.
Yeah.
Ryan, I've said it many times to you. Thank you for being willing to go on this silly ride. And for me forcing my omnibus collecting onto you.
I'm happy to spend your money.
Right. So for those that now have been initiated into what Ryan and I have been planning for at least a few months now, be ready. Next week, Wednesday at 6 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock Eastern, we're on the Magi Lasso YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about Avengers issue 1 and Justice League of America issue 1. We're going to talk covers. We're going to talk interior art. We're going to talk story. We're going to talk character. And you in the chat will let us know which book was the superior book.
Yeah, which team won this battle. And remember, this is not John versus Ryan or Ryan versus John.
Exactly. I might feel like he has the better cover or the better interior art. We will debate these pieces. We might agree or disagree, but we will just share our feelings having reread these books and gotten into the stories and these characters. Then you in the chat at the end will drop a start line. You can vote, and we will see who you've decided is the winner that week. Which book is the better overall comic? Nostalgia, everything included except monetary value. We'll throw that part out. Thank you, Ryan. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. If we have as much fun with the actual show than we had on the preview with episode 0,
right?
We're going to be in for a treat. But I hope you guys enjoy it as well.
Yes. So the link for Ryan's channel.
Perry's here.
Perry's jumping in at the last second. The link for Magi Lasso has been in the chat. It's down below. We want to get him to 1,000 subscribers. And that's going to be a big long-term goal we want to make happen. So sub him up, hit the notification bell, because next week on Wednesday, it's Avengers versus Justice League.
I bet you do, Perry.
And we'll be back. See you guys in a week. Read up on Avengers and Justice League 1 if you can, or just show up and we will sum it all up for you.
Sounds good. Until then.
Yeah.
JLA, assemble.
Earth's mightiest heroes, assemble.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right. We'll see you soon, gang.
Bye.
Bye, guys.